we are going bogey-free with Big Boy Golf.
Not feeling it.
It didn't really do it. It didn't do it for me, bro.
No.
It didn't do it for me.
Jesus, why you paused so goddamn long? I was like,
yeah, I was trying to debate how hard to be on you, to be honest, because I didn't like it at all.
Yeah, I agree. It was bad.
All right, it's been a fucking tough day, dude. It's been a tough day.
You're doing great.
I got dragged into this AMC and GameStop nonsense, and it's really fucked up my whole week, so I'm sorry.
I could hear it in your voice. Your voice is just sad.
Where are you right now? Where are you on this podcast from?
I'm at work currently. At work.
Okay, yeah, that's
not at an AMC theater, if that's what you're asking.
I mean, I wish you were. I'm gonna be going to AMC 3 times a day once they open in California.
All right, Freddie. Maybe we can cheer you up a little bit because we have the Waste Management Open, Phoenix Open. What an exciting tournament! We keep saying we got to get ourselves out there. It's good that it's not this year that we're going out there with everything still on the mend. But goddamn, this is a fun tournament. So Waste Management Phoenix Open. We're looking at around 7,200 yards, par 71. It's definitely gettable. Big Rock's going to be talking about that in a second, but we got a lot of big hitters here again. Big Rock's going to talk about how length is going to be important here, and he always likes to use that word penal. So I'm sure we're going to hear how it's not that penal here. So why don't we just get right into it? Rock, what are we looking at? Stat model, how are we breaking it down? What's it looking like? Come on.
Big boys. All right, let's get started. We are at TPC Scottsdale in good old Phoenix, Arizona. I'm gonna need some insight on the weather from George because I don't really understand weather because I always thought it doesn't rain in the desert, but when Ricky won this thing a couple of years ago, it was raining all over his face and it was windy and it was a complete and utter mess. So I want to know if we have a risk of some serious weather here, but it's a pretty easy course. I see the winning score like minus 17, minus 18. It's been, I think, minus 17 the last couple of years. It's a par 71, 7,266 yards. Like Ron said, it's not that penal if you do miss these fairways, but the fairways are pretty easy to hit. The greens are Bermuda greens, which makes me think of Webb Simpson, who won it last year. My man crushes Bermuda greens. And we had him last year. We had Woodland a couple years ago, and we had Ricky. So we're coming off 3 wins in a row on this event. What else? I'm looking at ball striking this week just because I always kind of look at it, but the ball strikers seem to perform here. Hideki, for example, is one of the best ball strikers ever, and my man loves it here. He won 2 years in a row a couple years ago. I'm looking at driving distance for the exact reason that the rough is not that penal. So if you miss it, if you're a bomber and you bomb it out there and you miss these fairways, that's okay. You're still going to have a short approach in, and your lie's going to be okay. I'm looking at approach. I'm looking at opportunities gained, par 5 scoring, proximity range. I'm looking at 150 to 175. I'm weighing some par 4s from 450 to 500, and then I'm looking at 3-putt avoidance. The greens are huge here. So the last year I think it was the average first putt was 38 feet, which is it's a doozy of a putt. So you got to avoid those 3 putts. So I'm definitely weighing that. I think that's pretty much it. I mean, I love this course. It's so fun to watch. You got the stadium par 3, 16th, where they set you up where you can get a hole-in-one like Tiger did back in the day there. And then the 17 is one of my favorite holes in any event, as that drivable par 4 with the whole risk reward of that. And then you close on a bomb of a hole, 18 is. So it's exciting. I love this tournament. I'm fired up. I think we're going to get another winner here this week. I feel real good about it.
Rock, how big are you weighing past history here? That's something that we had talked about previously. There's some guys that have a good history here that aren't necessarily playing well right now or haven't really played much. So what's your take on that? I'm looking at somebody like Cooch, who has a very good history here, but we haven't really heard much of him in the past.
Yeah, I mean, I usually break it down like in 3 ways. So I have my stats that I look at, the guys that I feel like have the stats that pop at the course that we're at. Then I look at course history, and then I look at recent form. This week, I'm weighing course history more than I normally do. If you look at the last few winners, Woodland had always played well here, and then he won it. And then Ricky came second in 2016, fourth in 2017, and then won it 11th in 2018, and then won it in 2019. So they're coming off 3 straight top 20s, and then they get the win. Hideki won it back to back, like I said. Webby, who won it last year, and he beat Finau, who melted down, and we can talk about again if we want to. But he beat Finau in a playoff, and Finau always wins, of course. So it's a very horses for horse type of place here. So I think you want to look at a guy who has played well. I don't think recent form is all that relative here for me.
Something else interesting I just want to say really quickly is this year, because of COVID, normally there's like 108,000 spectators here. Like the 16th hole, the par 3 is absolutely bonkers. And the atmosphere in general is like nothing else on the PGA Tour. And that's not going to be happening this year. It's going to be like 5 or 7 or 8,000 people there. It's going to be very, very different than what it usually is. And I'm just, it's going to be hard to know which players that excel here, have excelled here in the past, have excelled, if what percentage of that was because they like that atmosphere. I guess we might find that out this week. I don't know, but it's interesting to me that it's going to be so different to see, if that plays a factor at all. As far as the weather goes, it has rained here in the past. This is sort of like the quote unquote rainy season for the desert, but there's a reason why Scottsdale is one of the golf meccas in this country, and it is because of their weather. And it's going to show through this weekend. There's really nothing to report. I mean, highs are in the upper 60s, low 70s every day. There's really no wind to speak of. 5 to 10 miles an hour is the most, and that's Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Sunday, there's going to be next to no wind as of now. The only thing is the morning tee times. If they do have people teeing off early, it's going to be pretty chilly, like in the 40s, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday mornings. Other than that, it's going to be beautiful, like sunny days, beautiful Scottsdale golf.
That's it. Freddie, are you here?
I'm here. I'm just waiting until we get to Patrick Reed.
Well, it's funny you say that. It's funny you say that because I think going from Stormy's perspective, and I completely agree with it, of certain guys love that atmosphere, and I would have to say that certain guys probably want to avoid this tournament because of that. It kind of goes against the old time feel of golf. I mean, this is throwing golf into a football stadium pretty much. So Reed strikes me as somebody that would enjoy this. So I was kind of getting to him. What the hell happened last week? I mean, I think we all have our opinions on this. So Freddie, start us off here.
Yeah, Reed did what Reed does. Everybody in the public turned against him when he supposedly cheated. It's still up for debate in my mind. I think he followed the rules, maybe played a gray area move, but obviously he tweeted out that Rory McIlroy did the same and didn't even call over a rules official. So I don't know. The cheating thing is what it is. That can be debated back and forth, but what Reed loves is being hated. When he's hated, he just rises. And everybody went nuts on him, and I knew right away that he was going to win the tournament. There was no way that they were going to stop him. And that's exactly what happened. So Reed went on, dominated, told everybody to shut up, and Reed did Reed.
I'll give you my take on it. I mean, I saw all the post-round interviews and all the different questions he was asked. I actually thought he handled himself really well without getting too defensive. They came out with a lot of video on him having an exchange with the marker or the person that was working the side that told him that she didn't see it bounce. I mean, listen, it's like anything else. You can only go by the information that you have, and the information he had out there led him to do what he did. And I don't see a problem with it. And the fact that he even called somebody over, listen, we all know the biggest mistake he made was moving the ball prior to a rules official coming over. Technically, you can do that. It's one of those things where it's like frowned upon. Listen, Rory didn't even ask for somebody to look at it. Yeah, go ahead.
He moved it and marked where it was, exactly what the rules say to do. And then the rules official came over. First, like you said, the volunteer said it didn't bounce. So he was like, okay, well, it's probably plugged. Picked it up and was like, okay, I'm not sure, so let me call somebody over and mark it. And the rules official came over and was like, yeah, it definitely broke the plane. So I don't think it's really debatable in terms of rules.
Okay, in terms of rules, I get that. It's a little, I don't know, questionable. I think most guys would not have picked the ball up without calling a rules official. But like you said, Rory did. I get it. And I also think a lot of this is because Reed is Reed. And I think if Harris English did this a few weeks back when he was in the lead, it would have been a non-story. So that's one take. But
agree.
How did it plug? I mean, that's the ultimate question.
Possible.
The ball did not plug. It didn't plug. So what did he alter the ground? Because the ground was altered. No, the rules official came in and tested it.
This is what I think the problem is I think you have a standard that was set that they were being very lenient with plugs. I think they were giving guys the benefit of the doubt, and I think that's when he heard that it didn't bounce because of how soft the rough was. You can almost assume that it must have to some extent. So if you're going into something with the knowledge that it probably did happen, it would take a shit ton of information for you to change your mind. So he probably went to the ball thinking it was going to be plugged, and maybe he just saw an indentation near the ball that he assumed was the plug. I don't blame him for it. I don't think it was plugged. It's the same thing with Rory. I mean, Rory didn't see his bounce, assumed that if it was where it landed in the air, it must have plugged. And same thing. These guys are looking for plugs. You know what I mean? Instead of going there to see what's happening. Hang on.
This is Stormy Georgia here. I got to speak into this a little bit. I absolutely despise cheating and I despise cheaters. Having said that, I feel like this tournament really made this blatantly obvious that this is a PGA issue. This lift, clean, and place bullcrap, it's got to stop. It has to be something where, like, the ball literally has to be plugged more than 50%. Like, the equator of the ball has got to be buried. And then you call the official over. You cannot do anything yourself. That way, nobody can just pick up a ball on their own because it's a little bit embedded. Like, oh, my God. You know, it's like we've all walked up to a ball that we hit in the shit and been like, God, I wish I could just pick this up out of this ridiculous grass and move it over. Or even just picking it up and placing it back down again gives you such a different lie. It's not play it as it lies. It's just not golf, in my opinion. I'd rather see guys hacking at a golf ball that's a third of the way in the ground and hitting it 10 yards and then getting screwed and having the winning score be +1 than have this crap happen all weekend, even though this crap happening, and once again, Patrick Reed is great for the ratings of golf when Tiger Woods isn't on the course.
And the other thing I want to say about if it wasn't Reed, it would be a non-story, is Reed's been caught before doing this. He's been caught improving his lie. He did that bunker move where he was like back swiping the sand. Rory, we're comparing this to Rory. Rory, I think it was like a couple months ago, he had a lie situation and he had to fix his lie. He made it worse. He was like, made it clear. He's like, this is my lie is better, has improved. I'm going to make it worse. You know what I mean? It's the integrity of the golfer, and there isn't that integrity with Patrick Reed. That said, I love Patrick Reed. He's won me so much money in my life. He's a bulldog, and I'll take him every day. I'm tempted to bet him on the European tour this week.
Yeah, he's the type of guy that seems like, he's motivated by proving people wrong. There's like two different people that really thrive on positive energy and people that really thrive on that proving people wrong, negative sort of energy. And he really seems like that guy, which is fitting because he has a lot of negative energy thrown his way all the time.
And he doesn't care. He doesn't care about his integrity. He does not care what people think about him. He had that, even during that interview, I thought he handled himself well too, but he had that mug smile look on his face like, oh yeah, you're going to come after me? I won by 5 strokes. Yeah. I don't care,
Yeah.
So there is that attitude towards it, but it is interesting. And I do think the PGA Tour has a problem. I agree with you, Stormy. I think they got to get their rules straight, a little straighter, and there should be a better process than just, I picked it up, I already moved it. Like that felt fugazi, and I think that was the start of all the problems.
Yeah, this is competition at its highest level. Being fair is more important than anything else. Like, fairness is the most important thing. PGA just got to make an adjustment. That's all.
Is the rule, because the way the rule official described it was it broke the plane. So, like, if a ball breaks the plane at all, is that considered like a plugged ball?
I think so.
Embedded, yeah. Yeah.
So, like, that's crazy because, I mean, it would have been embedded. I mean, if it's wet and it literally broke the plane, so all it needs is like a tiny little divot, you can call it embedded. So I think that needs to be changed too. Like, more of what George said, should be 50%.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised
at
all if he just pushed the ball down a little bit as he picked it up. It's not that hard to do,
Did anybody else notice? And this is probably I thought Reed did everything well in how he made his decisions on that and how he did his post interview. But did you notice the comment that he made to the rules official when he came over to check for the embedded ball? Did you hear that? Because I thought that was the worst part of everything.
Well, what's
Do you know what I'm talking about, Rob?
Where he was like, where he's like, how else would you check it? Like, when the guy's like,
the guy
are you okay
comes
if
over.
I stick my finger in there? Yeah. Go ahead, man.
Yeah. The rules official comes over, and after Reed says, I moved the ball, he's like, I feel the embedded mark. Do you want to check it out? And the rules official says, do you mind if I put my finger down there to feel it? And like a douche, Reed goes, well, how else are you going to feel it? Like,
yikes.
It was kind of like, I thought that was a douche move. Nobody really mentioned that, I guess because it's like par for the course for Reed to kind of have that attitude. But I just thought that was funny that nobody mentioned it, and I was like, he's being a pretty big jackass.
One other quick question. If you're his caddy, I mean, he's putting his tournament in jeopardy. He's got the lead in this tournament. How are you not saying, hold on, let's get a rules official before you go willy-nilly?
Where was his caddy?
It was right next to his face. Did you see the caddy's face? He was just smiling like, I'm used to this. I just like sit back and let Patty Daddy do his thing.
Yeah.
It would be nice. It would be nice to get a caddy's perspective on that,
So
he looked like the third. He looked like the third wheel in like when he's out like to dinner with a couple and the couple's like having an argument. He was like the third wheel, just sort of sitting there uncomfortable with a little smile on his face. Like, he couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
Ooh. So I am texting Paul Tesori, and I think he's going to come on. I think probably in the next 5 minutes here. I think he just finished practice round with Webby. So hopefully he joins us. So when he hops in, don't be surprised.
All right. So with that being said, let's hop right into our picks here. We got some interesting plays this week. There's some huge favorites here. I actually like some of them, which I never like a large favorite or a heavy favorite, but I think we need to bounce right into it. So with that being said, Flying Embers needs to kick up their budget a little bit because, I don't have any Flying Embers in my house right now, and I could use some. So Flying Embers, send it. Flying Embers first round flyer. First up is Stormy Georgie. What do we got?
I feel so good about this weekend, guys. There's so much value to be had out there. I'm about to do something that might shake this podcast up a little bit. Weighing in at 150 pounds, he's 5'9". Oh my God, I'm bigger than him. He's 32 years old. He turned pro in 2009 from Oklahoma State University. Ricky Fowler.
Wow. He's 150 pounds? Holy.
That's what it says. He's 150. I'm 5'9". I weigh 170. I don't know what he's eating.
Wait, Rock, you didn't know he was 150?
No, weird, I don't. I actually don't believe it. Last time I saw him on the scale, it was a little more than that. But okay.
Yeah, Rocky only knows his waist and the hip dimensions. He's I see plus 4,500, and my numbers are usually worse than you guys because I can't get on DraftKings. So I think there's value there. I could see him going real low day one and then not winning again.
Well, wow. Speaking of course history, he's a guy that fucking loves this place, so I like it.
Yep. He's better on this course than anybody else the last 5 years, that's for sure, by a long shot, actually.
Freddie.
All right. My first round, Flying Embers first round flyer. I'm going with one of the best Bermuda putters in the game. Loves this place, and I think he does well this first round, especially. I don't know how he does without fans, but I would imagine, based off of his previous performances this season, he likes it. So I'm going to go first round leader Webb Simpson.
Oh, boy. Love it.
You got to love him putting here. You got to love it, especially with these big greens. I mean, the putter's going to be even that much more important. Absolutely.
He's built for it.
All right. Is that me?
Yeah.
Is that me? Am I? All right. So I might have did this last week. I get frustrated with this. He's a huge favorite here, but the one thing about the first round leader is they're always kicked up a notch. You know what I mean? Like, even if you're a huge favorite in the tournament, you get a little bit better odds with the first round leader. So I do like him here. Ever since he started playing here 4 years ago, I don't have it in front of me now, but I think when I was looking at it, I don't think he's finished less than top 10.
Finau's not in the field, right?
You know what? We're not going to talk about Tony this week, all right? Give the guy a break. Give the guy a break.
Can you bet
Goddamn
top
guy,
5 first round?
Goddamn guy shoots a 68 on Sunday, and he gets heat, and he finishes second. I love you, Tony. You're going to win. Just hang on. This week, my man is a huge favorite. The putter can get red hot. He could putt from deep. We've seen it. We've seen him do it under pressure. I think he can go low as hell here. As a favorite, I've seen 6-1. It's really not bad as a first round leader to get 16-1, and I am taking Jon Rahm, 16-1, first round leader.
Wow. That is
the angriest human in golf.
You know, I got to say, every time the man misses a putt, he holds his mouth with his entire hand as though he's completely shocked. I mean,
I love it.
Listen,
I love it.
I'm glad he expects to hit every putt, but you don't have to show every person in the world how surprised you are that you missed it. Bothers me so much.
I love it. Rock, who you got? Come on.
All right. First round leader. I'm feeling good about this. I've been thinking it all week. I don't know how much he weighs. I don't know how tall he is. But I'm going with the Canadian, Corey Connors.
Wow, nice.
Beast. This guy,
such a sweetheart.
Strike, he can go low. I don't know why you think he's a sweetheart. I don't know anything about him.
He's Canadian.
He plays well here. He plays well here, and he's been good as of late. I'm all in. I'm all in on my boy, Corey Connors. Let's go.
You love you some Corey Connors.
Oh yeah.
All right, that brings us right into winner picks. Winner picks, and we're starting with Freddie. Who you like to win this thing?
I am going Henrik Norlander, tied second last year, and is a little off the beaten path. He's been playing well. 100-1.
Wow. Big
wow.
Dog.
Damn.
Yeah. Wait, you mean second last week, right? Did he come second last year?
Did I say last year?
Yeah, you said last year. All right. Hey, man.
Last week.
You like the Norwegians. You love them. You and Henrik.
Norwegians. Love
you
my
like
Norwegians.
if their name is Henrik, you're in.
I love them.
Hey, boys, can you hear me?
Henrik Stenson.
What do we got here?
Paul Tesori, Mr. Paul Tesori. How we doing?
Hello. Man, I'm glad to connect with you guys. I have not been easy for y'all to deal with, for sure.
Oh man,
we love you. We love you, Paul.
Yeah, we appreciate
I like it.
it,
I couldn't quite hear that. Was that we love you? Is that what I heard?
We love you.
Oh, yeah. Webb never
we
tells
love
me
you.
See, Webb never tells me that. Caddies need to hear that every now and then.
We'll
come on, you're the man behind Webb.
I love it.
Oh man, well we are so excited
Freddie,
to
you
have
want to start us off?
Yeah. So
go ahead, Freddie.
Welcome to the Big Boy Podcast. First and foremost, this is Paul Tesori. For those of you who don't know, he's been on the bag for Webb Simpson since 2011. And when he joined Webb in 2011, I believe Webb was ranked 213th in the world, and you have taken him up to 9th in the world, which is where he sits actually today. You have 2012 U.S. Open, 2018 Players wins. You've been on Ryder Cup teams. So he's done a lot with Webb, and really impressive, honestly, really impressive human all around.
Hey
great
guys,
guy to get to know, I would imagine.
I love this introduction so much. Can I hang up and call back in? And can you go back through all of that again? That was fantastic. There's nowhere to go now but down the rest of the rest of our time together. But what an incredible introduction. I love geeking out on golf, and I look forward to talking to you guys today and just catching up and talking about the game I love.
Yeah, man. You actually, I knew obviously who you were, knew about you, but as I dove into kind of the history of you and all the stuff you've been through, it's really amazing where you've come and what you've created for yourself and Webb and your family. I know you have the Tesori Family Foundation, what I want you to talk about as well. Does a lot for the community and special needs children. So if you want to take it away and kind of give us the rundown with what that does.
Yeah, well, thank you. Yeah, thanks. Let's start with the good stuff. Let's start with the foundation first before we get into all the great golf stories and talk about just the journey with Weber and for me in the last 21 years with the guys that I've worked for. But our foundation, the Tesori Family Foundation, has been something for me that is incredibly special. And, you know, I married my wife, and I always had that excuse was that I want to start a foundation one day, but I don't want to do it till I can really do it. And she said, that's a cop-out. You start by changing one person's life, and then you continue to go from there. And that was back in 2010. And, you know, here we are 10 or 11 years later, and it's just been beautiful to watch it grow. Been able to give back a little over $1.5 million to the local community since we started. And now, because of my precious little boy, Isaiah, who's 7 years old, for those of you that don't know, he has Down syndrome, a.k.a. trisomy 21. And when he came around the scene in 2014, he very quickly gave us an area to focus on. And the special needs community is a tight-knit community. You know, parents a lot of times need some extra support, maybe an extra shoulder to cry on or even an extra ear to yell at. And just it's a continual fight for our kids. Number one, just so that the world can see them the way we're able to see them and fight for education. But also it's been such a precious thing to be a part of. That boy has taught his daddy more in the last 7 years than I learned in the first 42. And if you ask some of my friends, they'll say it's actually not that hard to do, but it's just the way he sees the world. And I can even remember back in 2018 having that 7-shot lead going in the last day, and I think it looks so easy from the outside, but internally it was the tournament I wanted to win the most in the world. And being where I grew up, where my grandfather taught me to play, where my dad and mom and sisters and aunts and uncles, everybody still lives. And I still remember feeling anxious just about the day ahead and knew how hard it was going to be. And I just thought about what would Isaiah do in that moment. And he would be like, Dad, I don't know what the problem is. Just one step in front of the other and have fun doing it. And that's what we were able to do. And so, again, just a precious thing we've been able to do to give back. And we get way more out of it than the people we help. And check us out, TesoriFamilyFoundation.org. And we'd love to have you just kind of on our list of people that we keep up to date. And we're going to try to keep pushing forward.
That's great, man. That sounds like it really sounds like a great thing you do. And I actually did, when I was looking at the website, I did see the Walk a Mile in My Shoes. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because I did find that really interesting and like kind of a fun way to donate other than just giving money, kind of involve you in what you do.
Yeah, for sure. I think our two favorite programs, we do an All-Star Kids Clinic where we do 20 throughout the PGA Tour schedule now, where me and another PGA Tour player and caddies and coaches on tour, we do one-on-one instruction with 25 kids with special needs. And we do it about 20 stops now on the PGA Tour. COVID has obviously kind of disrupted that a little bit, so those numbers will go down. But it's my favorite thing. Golf's obviously been incredibly good to me, and to be able to give back to the community in that way is great and kind of introduce these kids to the game of golf. And then our little thing that we do is walk a mile in my shoes. This body is very beat up at 49 years old. And so each year you have to guess how many miles we walk, and you pledge. It can be a penny a mile, a dime a mile, or as much as you'd like to give. And you just try to guess how many miles I walk. And it typically is somewhere around that 1,200 miles. And, you know, the more cuts Weber makes, it makes me walk more steps. But now he's playing a little bit less too. So it's a little bit of kind of either way. You got to pick your poison as you go through it. But it's a fun little program. It kind of keeps everybody connected to what we're trying to do. And, you know, even for those listening that have gone through hardships financially, we take prayers, encouragement, volunteer opportunities, and giving to the local food banks at a lot of the cities we've gone to is something else we've tried to focus on with so many people in our country going through such a difficult time right now. We really haven't had that. We had the 2.5 months where obviously the tour was put on hold, but once we got back to work, we were able to make a good living again, and we just know so many people are going through a hard time. So reach out to us, say hi to us, and we'd love any kind of support you can give.
That's great, Paul. That's awesome, man. That's really good stuff. So
thank you, guys.
Hopefully our followers can go over, check that out, and make some donations to a great cause. Now moving on to something very, very, very serious, and the reason you're on here, this is the most important question you're being asked today, is what kind of SPF does Webb Simpson wear?
I wasn't ready for that question. I knew you were setting me up for something. I didn't quite know what was coming out of your mouth next, but I obviously knew there was some sarcasm coming my way. So I have been on that boy for so many years about his sunscreen. It's like, buddy, you do realize you can actually put it on in front of a mirror to start with. And they actually make sunscreen. They actually make sunscreen that rubs in. It's not like full sunblock, sun glue, or whatever you put on. So he puts it on the range, and he looks at me and he goes, "How'd I do?" And I'm like, "Buddy, it's all over. I don't know what to tell you. It's all over." And I have got more texts / tweets / Instagram posts about, "Hey, can you do a little better job caddying when it comes to this?" And you can only lead a horse to the water, but he's got to drink, and we're working on him. I don't know if it's going to get any better anytime soon, but man, he does need to do a better job on that front.
Oh my God! Well, if he keeps winning, you can forget about the sunblock. So
that's true. Exactly. I got to let him slide while he's still playing good golf.
I was thinking maybe you write "Big Boy Golf" on his cheek in the sunscreen, so that when he gets the sunburn, it'll say "Big Boy Golf."
I love it. I love it. It's another good marketing opportunity. I love that idea.
Yeah, exactly. So Paul, this is Big Rock, and I just want to thank you as well. You're an inspiration to all of us. We're all dads on here. We're just a bunch of dads who love golf, and you inspire us with everything you're doing. So thank you again. And
so kind.
I want to ask you. I mean, the big talk in golf this week is Patrick Reed and the whole debacle that happened last week. And I want to ask you, as a caddy, because we were talking about this a little bit before, but as a caddy, would you have let Webby, if he hits a moon ball into the rough there like that, would you have let him go and just pick up the ball willy-nilly before calling over a rules official?
Yeah.
What's your take on that?
What a great question. And I think we know there's a lot of different kind of views and angles. I think a lot of people know, Webb and Patrick have a good relationship. We got paired with them, in the President's Cup in 2019. Patrick has been incredibly kind to my family and our foundation, and demands that we don't list what he's done for us, what he's given to us, to help us make a call. So that'll tell you a little bit about the heart that is in there, obviously, and he'd get mad if he found out. And I won't list money or anything, but he's just been really good to us. And so I do really like Patrick. But however, there is something that we were taught at a young age, and actually they used to, when we got on tour back in the old days, I played a year on the PGA Tour in 97, a little bit in 99. You used to have to sit down and take a 2-day class. And one of the things the officials always tried to let you know is hey guys, it's a big adage, just don't give the appearance that you're doing something wrong. And man, I think for me, that's such a big part of what we do in this game. Golf is so different. Golf's always going to be different. We call penalties on ourselves. We dress still with pants and everything else while we're playing golf. It's just, it's different in every way in what we do. And so I think my biggest thing I would love to have seen in that is hey, P, hey bud, take a peek. You're obviously allowed to, mark the ball, take a peek, pick the ball up. If you think it is, immediately place the ball back down and say, hey, guys, I think it is. I'm just going to be safe calling official. I think the biggest thing that happened was where he moved the ball to, and I don't think he was trying to do anything. I think he's pretty gun-shy right now, to be honest with you, about what he's doing. I think there was a little panic by him. Panic's the wrong word. Maybe a little mind freeze, just kind of a little blank out. And, yeah, I think in that situation, if Kessler had maybe a little bit more experience under his belt, or I think next time they'll remember, hey, let's just maybe not even touch it. Just maybe, hey, let's just bring somebody right away and have them look. We know by now, the replay of what happened with Rory McIlroy on 18 the same day. And they're talking about some situations that I've really never seen. I mean, this must have been so incredibly wet that Rory took a drop from a plugged lie. They showed later on his ball drop. And I'll tell you this, there's not a guy with higher integrity except for my guy. My guy's called more penalties on himself, I think, than the rest of the PGA Tour combined. I get nervous sometimes if he's got a good lie, he might call a penalty that he thinks it's too good of a lie. As we're going forward. Seen him, but no, go ahead.
I was going to say I've seen him back off a ball, wondering if it moved or not, and on the green or whatever. So you can tell he's got that. Good integrity.
He's called 8 penalties on himself. It cost us that win in New Orleans the one year. It cost us a 63 at the PGA one year with the ball moving. There's been the year we finished second in the FedEx for the $10 million. He felt like a ball went further down into the rough on the 7th hole, called a penalty on himself. So these are things that he's done, and we know Rory has that kind of same reputation, and he took a drop. So I definitely don't think he cheated. It's just that we have to give a clear perception of what's going on. And Patrick's going to be under a big microscope the rest of his career. He knows that with what happened, obviously, in the Bahamas a couple of years ago, and now this. So you're just going to have to be incredibly safe and then go forward from there.
Yeah. Hey, Paul, this is Charlie Value here. Thank you again for coming on. It's awesome for you to make time with the busy week going on. We really appreciate it. So my question for you is, we're all big sports guys, and we watch a lot of different stuff, and I don't know if there's another sport that shows a relationship like the caddy player relationship in golf, in terms of what you guys go through out in different situations, how you communicate, when you step back, when you get more involved. You guys look like you're so comfortable out there together, and there's just a level of trust. You could see it. There's a huge difference between the way you guys operate and a lot of other combinations. So do you think that's because of your history, the fact that you were a player on tour? Like, what do you think about that?
Yeah, Charlie. Yeah, what a great way to put it. I think there's a lot of different things kind of added up to one in the mix of it. I think, yes, my reputation when I went to work for Webb kind of gave me credibility that if I had something to say, he was going to listen. If it would have been my first job, or if I'd only maybe had one job beforehand, it would have been a little bit different. But I think who I had worked for and the success I had a little 20% play. I think the fact that I had played the game and, still played competitively, I think that helped a little bit. I think mine and Webb's personalities, our faith is very, very strong, so we have that similarity. But also our goofiness. We're very similar in what we find funny. And it's kind of what we all found funny when we were 20. We still find funny now that I'm 49 and he's 35. I don't really think I need to go into detail about that, but we're boys, and we just think that noises are funny. And we're going to stop the conversation.
Does that come out?
And let it just, I know if things are going wrong, I know there's ways to calm him down, to make him laugh, to do something to break up the monotony of the situation. And unfortunately, some of those have been caught on microphone. There's certain things when you have a similar sense of humor, similar faith, there's always things you can go to, to make things better. And I think the biggest thing is it comes down to the boss. It comes down to the player. He is the boss. And, I had 3 other bosses before him, and those relationships lasted about 3 years. And I think it's because of the stress that we're under week in, week out, how much time we spend together. And, very quickly, without a special relationship, things can just go a little stale in a hurry. And I think that's where Webb is so different than anybody else. And, I said this ever since I started working for him, really, that I was able to help him a lot with golf, but he was able to help me a lot with life. Just the guy is, his faith is as strong as I would want it to be. It's the husband that he is, the dad that he is, the friend that he is, the professional that he is. I want to be like that. And it's rare. That was he's 35 now, so he was 24, almost 25 when I started working for him, and he already had those characteristics. And I think that speaks so highly of, obviously, his parents, the job they did, but also the man that he is, the wife that Dowd is. They live their life above reproach, and you want some of that in your life once you get a hold of it. And you know, I've told him a lot. You know, when I went to work for him, I was hard. You know, anything rolled off my back, anything, and now I'm like, you know, that gold butter that you leave on the counter. If you kind of look at it funny, it kind of shreds right down the middle. You know, that's what you want to put on the toast in the morning.
Oh yeah,
pretty much ruined me from a hard job probably forever. And there's a good component of that. And obviously, if I ever have to find another job, it might be a little bit of getting used to again. But I think Webb probably deserves most of that credit for the longevity of the relationship. There's been a couple times during those 2.5, 3 years after the putter ban when we really, really struggled. There were some hard years. Fell back to about 100th in the world, you know, missed the Tour Championship 2 straight years, missed team events 3 straight years, and it was all because of the putter. And there was a couple instances where I did things probably enough to get fired. I have a very go-get-it kind of mentality. I don't like to sit back and kind of wait for things to happen. And it's a strength of mine, but I think we all know our strengths can be our weaknesses too. And, and definitely at times it comes out at the wrong time. And it did a couple times, and he was great. You know, he knew where my heart was and he knew where my desires were. And we worked on ways to get better after that. But, yeah, here we are. It's our 11th season together. It's been fun watching him grow up. He had 0 kids, and, you know, now he's got 5, 10 and under, or 9 and under right now, about 10.
Wow.
And it's been fun to watch him grow as a golfer too. You know, back in, you mentioned 2011 and 12, and he was 213th in the world when I started working for him. He was 10th after the first year and up to 5th after he won the U.S. Open. But I look back now, and he's so much better in every area. He's bigger, he's stronger, he's faster, he's smarter. His short game's better, his putting's better, just everything's better. And it just shows you the level of talent out here and how much it's grown in the last 11 years, because he's better in every area, and yet he's ranked exactly the same in the world, being 9th right now. And it's just, that's part about keeping up. You can't try to stay where you are. You have to keep getting better just because everybody else around you is getting so much better.
Yeah.
Wow. Paul, this is George. Thank you so much. You know, I just have to speak into, I've really been working on integrity the last couple of years of my life. I just had my first child, my son, 3 months ago.
Congrats.
And thank you so much. And, I mean, I think it's going to be obvious to anyone who listens to this that just the integrity that you and clearly Webb have is really inspiring, and it's amazing to have you on. So I really appreciate it. That actual answer was perfect for what I want to talk about. You know, I've always been the broke guy playing with my wealthy college friends who can afford a caddy, and I'm there lugging my bag around. I almost had a heat stroke on Bethpage Black a couple of years ago in the summertime when I'm lugging my hybrid bag around 18 holes. But I really don't know, and I'm sure this has got to be a lot of the listeners as well, like what exactly, I know a caddy has to know the course upside down, backwards, every inch. How does that, like, how do you actually go about studying a course? What's the day in the life of a caddy with, you know, as you're going toward that understanding of a course?
Yeah. Well, 2 answers. I think, you know, first of all, it's changed a lot. Technology has helped make our job a lot easier. When I first started working in 2000, we had to do so much of the work ourselves. We had to reshoot all the sprinkler heads. We had to reshoot, you know, bunker carries, run out to bunkers, run out to rough, run out to trees. We had to do all of our own green work. I can remember being out with a bottle of water and pouring water on greens to certain hole positions to find out where the fall line was and writing down how strong the fall line was. I remember doing that at Atlanta Athletic Club, I think in 2000 for the PGA.
Wow.
And yeah, just crazy. And then ended up having this thing called, you know, the Brake Master, which is just an electronic leveler. That's all it is. And having to go through and spending 20 hours on the course without my player, who was VJ at the time. It's hard to find 20 hours during a week to go do that. But 20 hours by myself doing the greens and having them done. And, you know, it was all those little things. Well, now we can pay and have those things. You know, this week I show up on Monday. I go out to the course. I pay extra money, and I've got what we call a picture book, which Mark Long does most of our books. We pay extra money and got pictures on the 14 non-par threes. And in those pictures, there are carry numbers, run-out numbers, pretty much anything you would need. And then we pay another, you know, fee to have our greens done. So our greens are done for every foot on the green, and they're done to percentages. And so we pay extra money to have those things done too. And so those are saving me 20 hours of work a week. So I think the attention to detail on the golf course still really matters, but it's a little less important now than it was, 20 years ago. And again, thank goodness for technology. It makes it a little bit easier. I think the things that really starts to separate when it comes to our job and what we need to do, I'm still going to come in a half a day before Webb, get out and see the golf course, see the rough, see the greens, see the missed spots, make sure that everything is still looking the same. I think, missed spots around greens are extremely important at this level. Knowing, okay, can we attack this pin with a 7-iron, or do we have to go 20 feet right? Do we have to take a sand wedge here and go 20 feet right of this pin and be safe, or are we attacking here? And just kind of knowing the different times to do so. To give you a big example, I actually made a big mistake on Sunday this year at Sony, which was our last time out. We parred the 10th hole. At the time, we were 4 back. And I knew coming in on the last 8 holes, we had to find at least 4 birdies coming in. And the pin's tucked back left, and we have a note on the 11th hole at Wiley, we're going to keep this ball 5 to 7 yards short of the hole. So we're trying to play for a perfect golf shot to be 20 feet short of the hole. And I thought it was a time. I thought we needed to start kind of getting the ball closer to the hole by this time, trying to find birdies coming in. We hit an extra club. Webb pushes it, lands on the back fringe. One hops into the back hazard. End up making bogey. Ends up making bogey, and then goes on a run. Thank goodness we ended up losing by 2 and not 1. But I texted Tiger and just asked him this question. What I went off of was percentages. I've been doing a lot of work going into the analytics of golf, trying to study, birdie percentages, and these other kind of areas. Knowing on Sundays, when do you start being more aggressive? When do you try to go from 20 feet to 10 feet? When do you need, this par 5 or a par 4, we usually hit 3-wood. Do we need to hit driver? What are the percentages going to be like, going that way? And I played the percentages on that 11th hole, and I went against what my golf IQ was telling me. And Tiger had a typically sarcastic but great response. And I told him the exact situation. He goes, I said, what would you have done? He goes, I'd have hit it to 20 feet every time. And I go, well, I said, no shit, Sherlock, is what I responded. I said, now in hindsight, he goes, no. He goes, on the 11th hole, it would not have mattered for me. And that was kind of like, again, I'm 21 years into this. I played professionally, and there's still those little learning moments. I played the percentages. I kind of feel like, the Green Bay coach, 2 weeks ago, that weekend, I think he was playing the percentages in the moment, but not looking at, hey, I got a Hall of Fame quarterback in the huddle. Yeah. The problem is I got probably the best quarterback of all time on the other side if I'm giving the ball back, but he played percentages in the moment. The percentage of getting a touchdown from the 8-yard line is very low, and then getting the 2-point conversion. But in the moment, you got to go more on gut instinct and faith in your guy. And so the last thing Tiger said, and this was 30 minutes later, and he goes, and ... I would have made the putt. Of course, he said that to throw that in there on the moment. And it's just another learning experience. We never stop learning at this level. It was a mistake that I hated to make. But, again, it might save me this year on 15 at Augusta. We're 4 back with 4 to play. How aggressive are we trying to be? And I'm going to remember, I'm trying to hit the ball 45 feet, 2-putt and go about our business. And now if it's 17 or 18, sometimes all, decision has been taken away from you and you have to go. But kind of to run that back, it's just a good learning experience.
Yeah, that's amazing. Thank you so much. Man. Such a cool story.
Hey, did you guys like how my good friend Tiger Woods told me not to name drop? Did you guys like that little thing that I did there?
Hey, anytime we got anybody,
I had to throw it in there that I'm cool enough to text Tiger. That was the only reason why I told that story. I'm glad y'all just bust me up for that.
Very smooth.
Yeah.
Paul, we were going to actually have Tiger on, but we bumped him for you. So.
Yeah, that's the right thing to do for sure. Tiger, who? Remember, I'm the idiot that wore that stuff.
So I got one more question here. Going into the waste management, obviously, this week with Webb, how does it look different and without the fans and the grandstands, and what's changed there in terms of sight lines?
Well, I mean, this has probably been, besides Augusta, like the second most eerie feeling. Augusta was eerie. It was weird. I didn't like it at all. There's been some spots that I've liked kind of better without fans as far as like stress level, the ability to get your job done, work done. Like, Winged Foot this year for the U.S. Open. Typically, the New York crowd there, you just have to really prepare for them. They're loud. They're rooting for you. They're all on. If you make a mistake, they're going to let you hear it. But there's a lot more kind of energy that gets spent mentally where they didn't get spent, at Wingfoot this year. And Augusta was it felt sad to me kind of. I'm sure it didn't.
Yeah.
For who won? I'm already forgetting who won this year. Oh, Dustin. I'm sure it didn't feel bad for him at all.
DJ.
But, we finished 10th, and it just was weird. We didn't know when shots were close. No roar when that ball was feeding down the hill on the 16th hole. Just kind of weird. And so this week already, I can tell is the same. We have our Pro-Am tomorrow. There's just the course is green. A lot of the grandstands are gone. I'll see 16 tomorrow for the first time. I know there's a structure up. It's just not going to look the same. And so I think this is going to be one of those weeks where it's going to feel quieter. It's going to feel calmer. I think there's going to be a lot less energy spent mentally. But I also think it's going to be the week that we will miss them. This is the 1 week. I wish we could keep it at 1, but the 1 week where we're okay with the madness. That's going to be strange this week for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Okay.
But we do people's pick where we place a bet on a player to win.
Oh, no. Go ahead.
Well, we are doing Webb. We are. How can we not do Webb having you on? Come on. So we're doing Webb for the people's pick.
Yeah.
And so there's going to be a $10 bet placed that'll be paid out to people who retweet us on Twitter, also on Instagram. And then we also are going to do a $10 bet on Webb that will go to your foundation if he wins as well.
You guys are incredible.
So you have
a
ton of pressure this week. Not that you didn't have enough.
I love that. Well, I'm hoping you're going to see me. I've had some pretty bad back issues. I was kind of bedridden last week. I've got a fill-in caddy for me today. I walked around while he carried the bag. I got another one tomorrow. My hope is to work. So if I'm out there, I will definitely do my part to make sure he gets in. His game looks incredibly good. I'm very excited for this run that we have coming up right now. We got here the WGC Concession, TPC, WGC Match Play, and then Augusta. It's gonna start happening really fast. And Weber is in the best place I've ever seen him physically, mentally, and just ready for a really nice run coming up. And so, guys, thanks for letting me geek out on golf a little bit. Thank you for the kind words, obviously the kind donation to the foundation. And hopefully we'll do something special soon and we can do it again.
All right.
Paul, sounds good.
Thank you
so much,
Paul.
your time.
Yeah, thanks for coming on,
Thank you, guys.
Paul.
I really
appreciate
it.
Best of luck this
you,
week,
guys.
and we
Bye-bye.
hope your back feels better.
I appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Take care. Man,
Wow.
what a
Paul
what a guy.
Tesori with a little insight.
Oh my gosh! I mean, what a gem of a human being.
Class
A
act.
sweetheart.
Class
Class
act.
act.
Sweetheart.
Couldn't agree with that more.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, God, I would have loved to have gotten into more. I'm sure he's got the craziest stories. 21 years around golf. But man, what an awesome interview.
Yeah,
Really
He gave us. Go ahead, Frank.
For our listeners who don't know, if you never heard the Tiger Who story, I would recommend Googling it and reading up on Tiger Who, because it was a very interesting story with him and Tiger. And I believe it was his first year caddying, and he was thrown into the fire and got a little beef with Tiger. So it's an interesting story. Give it a Google.
All right. I will do that. I don't know that story, and I wanna know it. So I will look at that. Freddie, thank you for putting that together and making that work. That was really an awesome experience, and he's an inspirational guy, man. If you're not rooting for him after hearing that, like, what is going on here?
I know. I want to change all my picks now.
Yeah, it's like you're going, Freddie. I'm surprised you're not going Webby first round flyer wire to wire situation going on here.
Maybe he is. We don't know yet.
I thought you picked Norlander.
Oh, he did. That's right. He did Norlander for the winner. So I think it's my turn. We might as well continue with the picks, right? I'm up for winner.
Yeah, let's pick. I don't have Charles right now, but we can continue.
Yeah, Charlie
Go ahead,
Value had a jump off. He's got some family stuff going on, but it's all right. Okay, I'm between some dudes. I have some names written down. One name that I have written down is Webb Simpson. I also have Zalatoris written down. I've got Russell Henley written down, and I've got Matty Wolff written down. I'm not quitting on my man Wolff Little hand injury. He's young and spry. I'm sure he'll heal. That's hard to say. He'll heal really quick. Having said that, I've been looking at some numbers, and they're very interesting. Over the last 24 rounds, this gentleman is number 1 in shots gained approach, number 4 in shots gained ball striking, number 3 in shots gained tee to green. Those are some pretty big numbers. Now, he doesn't have great course history here. He basically misses the cut every other year, and then in between missing cuts, he gets around, he's tied 15th and tied 16th, 2019, 2017. So I have a feeling, I got this hunch that he's going to be the guy. I'm picking him out of my 4 names. He weighs in at 180 pounds. He's 6 foot tall, 31 years old, out of the University of Georgia. My man, Russell Henley.
Ooh,
I love him.
I like.
That's my pick right now. I'm seeing 66 to 1. The value's there. It's I think he's a great option. That's my pick.
I love him, and
Right.
Webby won this last year, and he was hanging with Webby when they played a couple weeks ago. And they're the same kind of ball striking players. So I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah, he's doing really well.
I will put you down for my man Russell Henley. That's nice. I'm going. I can't not go Webby here. I loved Webby. I like his repeat. And then we have his caddie on, and he tells me he's never seen him look better. Like, what kind of moron would not pick the guy that I was leaning towards anyway? Like, it doesn't make any sense. So I'll make it simple. Yeah, I'm going Webby all the way, and I got Charles' pick, and he is going with big boy Bubba Watson for his winner.
Oh man, I love that pick.
I
I want to
like
go
Bubba Watson.
back to the well
What
this
a
week
mess.
with him too.
Yeah.
I feel like he might be one of those guys that doesn't fare as well without the crowd. I feel like he's that kind of guy that's going to like the crowd there. So we'll see. I'm interested to see.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with him, I'm noticing lately is he stinks when the weather gets messed up. If it gets windy or rainy, he falls apart. I guess it's all that shaping of the
He
ball.
doesn't like he's not big on adversity.
Well, I mean, he won the Masters twice.
Yikes,
so
Freddie.
He's not big on adversity.
And it's the land-based hour of the pod.
Yeah, here we go.
Okay. Let me
All right,
also
moving on to value.
Oh, George, we lost you there for a second.
Sorry, you got me?
No, we don't have you. Freddie, are you there? Hello?
Yes. Can we just say, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me, Freddie?
I can hear everybody
We
loud
got a
and clear.
problem here.
It's only
Why?
rock. Big rock. It sounds like we have some technical difficulties. Stand by, everybody.
Look, we lost Ron. He's the host, and everything falls apart.
I'm back.
You can hear us?
All right, welcome back.
Yeah, okay. Sorry, I don't know what happened there. We'll try to cut that out maybe, or maybe you'll just
I
have
bet
to deal with it.
it was what happened in media a while ago, and I bet it was a Bluetooth issue. I'm telling you.
It might have
Technology.
been. These bad boys.
All right.
It's a little tricky.
All right. Well, I got
All right.
Charlie Value play of the week, and he's going with Matt Kuchar, top 20. Matt Kuchar,
Ooh.
top 20.
Ooh.
Do we know what that pays?
Yeah,
Let's
Do
check
you
it
have the
out.
odds on that?
He
I don't
didn't
have
put them
the odds
down.
on that,
I'm
no.
I'm interested. Cooch. I'm seeing
Cooch-a-dooch.
plus 300. I'm seeing plus 300
Plus
for
300?
that. Yeah, that's not bad for top 20. He said, right? That's pretty good.
Yeah, he likes
Where's
this
Cooch?
place.
All right.
Yeah.
What do you got? What do you got for your value?
I think it's my turn. I'm gonna go. Oh God. So I have 8 names written down for value pick. I think there's a lot of value to be had out there this week, and it's just a matter of picking the right guy. Oh my God, I'm so torn. This guy, Will Zalatoris, I just got to say real quick, he's been playing lights out. He's barely even a pro, and he's crushing everything he plays. I think him top 10 at plus 350 is a great bet. You could do Russell Henley, who I just picked to win. At top 10, he's plus 650. It's crazy.
Wow.
That's a really good bet, I think. I have a sneaky suspicion that Max Homa might have a decent week. And you can get him at plus 300 for top 20. That's a great pick. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go with a guy who brings his own mattress to every single tournament he plays at because he's got a jacked up back. Maybe I should have mentioned to Paul, maybe you should bring your own, mattress, maybe to help him out. So Paul, if you're listening, maybe talk to this guy, my little friend Oosthuizen. Ask him what he does, what he's doing. Maybe he can help you out this weekend so we could see you out on the golf course with Webby. I'm going Louis Oosthuizen, the good smooth. That's what I like to call his swing. Top 10 plus 500. I love that bet. I think it's great value. And if you're smart, you're going to jump on my back and join me. That's it. That's my pick. Freddie, who you got?
I think we do have to mention, didn't George take the lead in the value picks?
Oh, yeah, he hit it values. So did I. We both hit our values last week. I hit Luke List top 20, and G-Boy hit our boy Ryan Texan Palmer top 10. Real juicy scores there. So, yeah, I'm in the mix now finally, but George is well out in front. He's up big. He's up 15.67 units, Polly.
Jump on my back, boys. Jump on my back.
So
all right.
With that, we'll move to me. I have yet to hit one pick, so I recommend not following anything I say. But with that, I am going with Billy Horschel, top 10 plus 450.
Terrible bet.
What's worse, Billy Horschel or Bubba Watson?
I like Bubba this week. I like Bubba. I'm not hating on Bubba.
You like Bubba more than Billy Horschel?
Yeah, I do. I'll take a side bet if you want to do a side action on Bubba.
Oh, here we go. Now we're talking. Let's make this interesting.
Go. Yeah. George, for clarity.
It pains me.
What pains you?
To watch Billy Horschel play. I don't like watching him play.
Well, I'm glad you bet him then. Rock, what were you going to ask me?
I need clarity. Did you say Oos top 10?
I did.
Okay, that's nice. I like that. Okay.
500.
Really Horschel.
Why do you always like his picks?
Well, I mean, because he picks good ones. He's winning. You haven't hit one yet.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and call scoreboard on that one.
Which means I'm due.
You called. Right. You said yourself you weren't very confident about your bet. Sorry. Let's move on. Rock, you're up.
My turn. I'm going with a boy who's been hot lately. I think he shot like 67 at Torrey Pines on Sunday, which is dirty. Might have even been 66. But I am going with Sepp Straka, and I'm going Sepp Straka. It sounds like a venereal disease, but whatever. I'm going with Sepp Straka, top 20 Sepp Straka. He's 175 to 1 to win the tournament. I will have some Sepp Straka on my card. But I
love that. I see him at plus. That's crazy.
What is it? What is it?
I see plus 500.
Yeah, all day. Plus
that's
500.
Awesome. That's an awesome.
Actually, bet. I think that's an awful bet. It's a terrible bet.
Wait in there, Freddie. All right, listen, that's everybody's bets. We're really fired up. Waste management is going to be awesome. It's always awesome. Hopefully it's not too weird without, a bunch of drunk people in the stands. Only time will tell. The weather's going to be glorious. Just a reminder, we are on Twitter. We are on Instagram. We are on Facebook at BBG Picks. Username, Rock. You hear your nose, I think, breathing into your phone right now.
Really?
Yeah. Yep. If you don't know Big Rock, he's always had some breathing issues. It's been a lifelong thing. We're working on it.
All right.
Sorry. But listen, we are on Webb Simpson for the people's pick. If you retweet us on Twitter, if you tag us with a couple friends and follow us on Instagram and or Facebook, you will be entered into a chance to win whatever we win with our Webb Simpson bet. Get in there, make it happen. We are Big Boy Golf. That's all I got. You guys got anything else?
Nah, man.
Have
you
a great
covered
night,
it all.
boys.
Thank you, Paul
You did great.
Tesori. Let's go, Webby. Come on.
Let's go, Webb.
Let's go, Webby.
Later.